Welcome to the R&BE.
What did I tell you about Morse code, man? Stick to the scripts. You're gonna get hurt.
I am here perfectly.
Don't be blinking for no help. Don't be blinking your eyes asking for help. You understand?
Welcome back to the R&BE, the Rob and a Benny experiment. This is the show we come at you with every week, and we drop some knowledge bombs from comic books and information on ourselves and you, or we discuss something topical. Today we're going to be discussing the possibilities of what could come out of Disney buying Fox.
Yeah.
But I have great news, guys.
What's the news?
Today is our first sponsored episode.
Yay!
So, Skillshare is an online learning community with more than 17,000 classes in design, photo, and more. Premium membership gives you unlimited access so that you can improve your skills and unlock new opportunities and do the work that you love. Skillshare believes in accessible learning, and the price reflects that with an annual subscription of unlimited access being less than $10 a month, making it one of the best deals that you can find in online education. Since Skillshare is sponsoring this video, the first 500 people to use the promo link in the description will get their first 2 months free to try out risk-free.
Sounds kind of cool.
Yeah. Online learning at
online
a reasonable
learning
price.
Yeah, I mean, it's that sounds pretty awesome.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
I don't know what to say now.
Yeah.
So jumping into the episode.
So anyway, but yeah, if you guys enjoy these discussions by me, Rob, and even Dan, and Natalie joins us and all kinds of stuff, don't forget to go over to our gaming channel, Eligible Monster, where we do these kind of discussions about video games all the time. It's youtube.com/Eligible Monster. And we also...
It's that channel about Eligible Monster.
one.
and we also have a Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Eligible Monster, in which we all play video games on the weekends. So that would be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Come and join us. Be a part of the community.
I mean, Monday's not really part of the weekend.
Well, I mean, it would be considered an extended weekend.
It's a 4-day weekend, Rob.
Yeah.
Okay, only if it's a holiday.
Well, it's always a
4-day
4-day
weekend,
weekend
Rob.
at the Eligible Monster House.
Yeah, it's always a 4-day weekend.
Always a 4-day weekend.
Wait, who gave you a 4-day weekend?
I did.
I'm your boss.
Houston's head of HR now, so he gave me the time off.
No,
Did we not tell you this?
You explicitly
Oh.
said when you brought your guys on, they get to make their own hours.
This is true. I have it written down.
That contract's not usable anywhere.
I mean, it's, you know.
I lost page 2 of it, so it's not even fully together at this point.
Okay, so Dan, since you don't follow comic books, did you know that Disney? Well, you don't follow them on the regular. You don't have
The news of it, no.
No, just so you know what we're talking about here.
Yes.
Back in the 1930s, they created these things called superheroes.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, you ever heard of a guy named Superman?
No, can you... Wait.
Okay, Superman is this guy who dresses in all black, and he
Oh.
looks like a bat. All right, and it's crazy. But he is a guy who appeared in like 1930s. And they take these stories and they put them in books, like little magazines, and people buy them.
That's weird.
And we talk about that.
That's weird.
And he dramatically reads
man.
them.
And you edit the videos.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing
That's
the
what he's
past
been
2
doing.
years?
Yes. He hasn't been drawing those, man.
He thought I was drawing all the comic books.
I thought he was just like, watching a movie and just taking screenshots every 5 minutes, but no. Damn.
No, these are
Okay.
Screenshots every 5 minutes. I love that. And pause. Print screen, play.
So, because you don't follow the news at all, did you know that Wolverine is now going to have a baby with Superman?
It's going to be Super V.
Super Baby Bean. Good old Super Baby Bean.
I feel like we brought Dan on just to mock him for 10 minutes before we even start the episode.
Super. What would you call that baby?
I don't know.
Like
John Vereen.
John? No, that's not cool.
What?
That doesn't sound cool.
Why would it be that?
Super.
What is this?
Okay, that's you guys who are watching this. You guys who are watching this movie. You guys who are watching this video right now. People who are watching this video, that is your assigned task. You have to give us a name of what the child of Superman and Wolverine would be. That you have to give us that name down in the comments.
Bub.
We got a winner.
Super Bub.
Super Bub.
Oh, Super Bub.
But we take 2 weeks off. Rob has a stroke on air.
Stroke. Yeah, Superman powers.
This is so bad. Okay, all right.
Yeah, man, we keep it classy here on the RMBE. We keep it together, as you guys can tell. We know what we're doing.
Okay. Wow. So,
What were we talking about before?
so
Fox buying
finally, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
They finally entered in negotiations. Disney's potentially going to buy Fox for $60 billion.
Yeah, supposedly the announcement is going to be next week.
So this is an actual thing now. It's not like before where they were like, hey, it started, but then it stopped before it actually started.
It's one of those, like sources say.
Okay.
The problem is there's a lot more sources saying it now than there were before.
Okay.
Well, so here's the story as far as we know it. Okay? And bear in mind, this is all hearsay. This is all from sources, whatever. Disney and Fox talked. Fox wants to sell their movie and television arm because they want to do a huge push into the news arm and digital news. Okay. But they need the money for that, so they decided, why don't we sell our movie and television arm to get the money to do this big push and get ahead of everyone else.
Yeah.
So they entered into discussions with multiple companies, but Disney being the most prominent, about selling Fox movie and television.
Okay.
It fell through because they just decided they weren't going to do it. But their stocks rose at the idea of them selling. So they re-entered negotiations because, I mean, how would you feel if your company was worth more because you were selling it?
Just simply talking about selling
talking
it.
about
Like, not even.
Yeah.
So now apparently we're hitting a point where we're now going to be selling Fox, which includes all the X-Men properties, anything that has the word mutants in it.
Yeah.
So
Fantastic
Deadpool,
Four
X-Men,
properties.
all the Fantastic Four in the cosmic Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're not talking like they got back Punisher.
Yay! Frank Castle to the MCU. There we go.
We're talking about two of the largest. I mean, if you think about Marvel, it's pretty much like 4 quadrants.
Yeah.
You have like the epic level multiversal superheroes, you have the street level superheroes, you have the cosmic level, and you have the mutant side. And some people would like to say that there's a 5th side, but the Inhumans don't freaking count.
No, there are no Inhumans. No, the funny thing is, like, if you go through and you look at Marvel, and I can just say this from experience, most of the Avengers were B-listers. The Avengers have never historically been the top tier of Marvel. I mean, they were after like the X-Men dropped off in popularity, just because the X-Men dropped off in popularity.
Yeah.
Like people think of like the most powerful beings in Marvel. You usually think of mutants.
Yeah.
Because it was always that way. Yeah. So they were always like the most popular ones.
They did kind of fall off in the 2000s, but that's when the movies were coming out, and Brian Michael Bendis came in, did the Avengers as a better team. Then they started doing their own movies. So there was a series of things.
It was also Marvel did this thing called X-Men Reload. So after in the mid '90s when the whole comic books,
I need a water while you guys do this.
Grab me one too.
So
Thanks.
in the mid '90s when the whole comic books happened. People just stopped buying comics because they figured they weren't going to be worth anything.
Yeah.
The other problem with this was that Claremont stepped away from writing the X-Men. Like Jim Lee walked away from drawing the X-Men. And you got a few stories here and there, but it never quite reached the same peak. And so going into like the early 2000s, 2001, 2002, you had things like Extreme X-Men where Claremont came back, but it was never as good. So in 2004, Marvel did something called the X-Men Reload or something like that. That's why we got stories like House of M. Because they were just reshuffling the whole X-Men landscape.
Yeah.
But by and large, when you sit the universes down side by side, the number of people who are mutants or have been X-Men versus the number of people who have been Avengers, it's night and day. You're talking about a vastly larger number of people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane, the total number of people. So there's so much more you could do with an X-Men and even just a Fantastic Four universe than you could do with an Avengers universe.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the Fantastic Four universe is the cosmic entities. I don't think you
Yeah.
mentioned that much, but we're talking Galactus. We're talking Annihilation. We're talking Annihilus. We're talking like all these big hitters in all of space outside of the Guardians. If you've been watching the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, which I know you have, they've got Ego, but that was actually, Ego doesn't belong to Marvel. Ego falls in line with them. There was a swap around.
Wow.
Marvel gave Fox Negasonic Teenage Warhead, was it? No, because she's a mutant.
Yeah.
They gave Fox somebody. I think it might have been Negasonic. I think she fell into one of those weird gray areas.
Yeah.
They gave them somebody, and they gave Marvel Ego to use with the Guardians. But just think, in order to do a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, they had to negotiate a deal with Fox to get a character back. Because most of the cosmic stuff relates to Fantastic Four.
It does. That's where all the cosmic exploring took place.
Yeah.
I actually never even knew that. I never associated the Fantastic Four with the cosmic entities. I've always known them as
They found most of it. That's what it comes down to.
No. I mean, it's kind of weird. Like, Eternity was originally a Doctor Strange character. Living Tribunal was originally a Doctor Strange character, stuff like that. When you think of the Fantastic Four, though, you think of space exploration. Mm-hmm. And that was a large part of it. I mean, Galactus first showed up in the Fantastic Four, and so did Silver Surfer. And there were a lot of other characters, too. Like, the Inhumans first appeared there. Black Panther first appeared there. I mean, they were the title that Marvel used to bolster the profiles of other characters.
Yeah.
But when you think of the Fantastic Four, you don't really think of, like, an Earth-based superhero team. You think of a family that's out there charting the spaceways. And so in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, when I think of the Fantastic Four, I think of a huge brunt of the whole like Marvel cosmic landscape being explored in the Fantastic Four movies.
Yeah,
that's where you would start to see like Vinny. That's where you see Silver Surfer, Galactus. That's like what we saw in Guardians of the Galaxy would be the tip of the iceberg compared to what you would see in the Fantastic Four movies.
Well, like you said, they used the Fantastic Four to introduce people. Okay. Well, the problem with the nature of the contracts is anyone that was introduced in X-Men or has the name mutants, they owned.
Yeah.
It wasn't like you owned this run of comics. It was you have bought mutants.
Yeah.
So that's why Deadpool belongs to them, even though no one really ever associates Deadpool with an X-Men.
Yeah.
He's always kind of separate. And the same thing with Fantastic Four, since so many things were introduced in there and they were exploring the galaxy, if it was introduced there, they owned it. Mm-hmm. And look at what they did.
Yeah, they kind of screwed it all up. So
that's sad.
I don't know.
So anyway, that gets us today, though.
Yes.
Now they're entering discussions, and what I wanted to talk about today, I know we don't do too many topical stuff, like talking about the news. And if you guys would like to see more about this, me and Rob having fun discussing theories and bringing in people from the team, like Dan, T editor. If you like, let us know in the comments down below, because this is something we're trying out, bringing in a third person to keep this discussion moving. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so that brings us to today. If they do buy it, let's start with the most obvious of the stuff, okay? If they do buy it, the X-Men, how are they going to bring them into the MCU? Fresh, 100% reboot? Mutants. I'm going to give you credit, but I loved what you said.
Damn it. I wanted to say it.
You want to say it?
No,
That's it.
I've got a video on it. Go ahead. Yeah.
Do you have a video on it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
His idea was they're going to say the X-Men have always been around, mutants have always been around. Mm-hmm. Xavier blanked it from everyone's mind.
Yeah. And when Vision got the Mind Stone in Age of Ultron, whatever it was, he learned about it. He realized mutants were there because the Mind Stone can override the mind of any character. And so Vision went to Xavier and was like, "What is all this?" And Xavier told him what was going on. He's like, "Look, I hid us away from the world because I didn't think people were ready for us," that kind of thing. And Vision's like, "I actually understand where you're coming from," and he left and never told a soul. Because Xavier asked him not to.
Oh my God. That would be so great because then with what they've shown in the trailer for Infinity War with Thanos.
Stay close to your mic. I know you're not used to it. You can move the mic.
Yeah, you can move the mic up.
It's at Natalie's height right now from our gaming channel.
Yeah, no, because, I mean, in the trailer, doesn't like Thanos...
Yeah, they take the Mind Stone.
Like, takes it from him. That could totally be the way that they bring him in, that like, all of a sudden, that somehow Static Shock changes everything.
Yeah.
The waves go through. Next Avengers movie, Avengers vs. X-Men.
I think we all want that to be the first movie, but as much as we want it, don't do it. Don't do a Batman v Superman.
No.
Don't go, the second movie in our franchise is the one you all want.
Actually, here's a crazy thing. Like, I mapped it out. Like, I have this Excel spreadsheet sitting at home. Dude, I spent hours.
You and your Excel spreadsheet.
Dude, I love Excel, man. Me and my Excel spreadsheet. Benny, are you serious?
I'm just getting into his mouth. He wasn't talking into it.
That's what she said. I'm mad, dude. I love Microsoft Excel, man. It's so good for organizing. I mapped this all out. Like, way ahead. I go through like 3 phases of X-Men films with the Avengers being peppered in before I even begin to get to Avengers versus X-Men. It's like a slow build. It's like you got to build up trust and you got to destroy the trust. And then they got to fight.
Did you put that in your video?
Yeah, I did all of phase 1.
Okay, so you did. Yeah, you need to make a series of that.
Yeah, I'm doing phase
X-Men
2.
phase 2, X-Men phase 3.
Yeah, I asked people. I was like, "Do you guys think I should do phase 2?" And then I was looking at the views, and I was like, "Yep, we're doing phase 2." So I started fleshing all that stuff out. But no, I mean, okay. See, here's a cool thing. Like, let's say, for example, that Marvel didn't treat the X-Men like they didn't say they have to fit in continuity. Like, we're just gonna do a bunch of one-off movies out there somewhere. My first go-to would be like God Loves, Man Kills.
Well, why couldn't you do the one-offs and pepper them in? I mean, Iron Man and Captain America 1 just peppered in with each other. They didn't directly. I mean, Iron Man 1 did. I mean, Captain America 1 did not have Iron Man flying to go, hey, by the way, I'm Tony Stark, going to make an Avengers team real soon.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, ideally, you would bring the X-Men in, and it would follow a chronology. Like, you'd be leading to something.
Yeah.
Or, like, you would explain what's going on with the characters or whatever. But assuming you didn't do that, and you were just, like, a X-Men movie, then, like to me, okay, do you guys ever read God Loves Man Kills?
A long time ago, it sounds familiar. I believe I did. But probably, X-Men stories, I'm not, like, very good.
That was one of the first major graphic novels for the X-Men, and it was huge. You guys did Weapon H from the...
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
William Stryker originally appeared in God Loves Man Kills.
Okay.
He's just a religious fundamentalist who believes it's his mission from God to kill mutants. And that's
Okay.
it. And he leads the Purifiers. But the story was so cool for two main reasons. One, because it humanized mutants, and it was like, look, we're going to juxtapose mutants with like every other group that's ever struggled ever. And then it also dropped the N-bomb. Yeah, it was huge.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Ninja?
Huh?
Ninja?
Yeah, it dropped Ninja. It's a ninja. Yeah, somebody insulted Kitty Pryde, and Storm said, hey, you just have to let it go. And she was like, well, what if they called you a ninja? and Storm was like, yeah, you make a good point. I don't like being called a ninja.
The best part about me saying that was you not fully hearing me and assuming I just dropped the N-bomb.
I thought you dropped the N-bomb. What was it you said?
I saw your face. You were ready to go. That is not okay, Benny.
Yeah, that's a problem, man. You're crossing that line. No, it was a good story. It was an amazing story. But no, I think the knee-jerk reaction for a lot of people would be like, give us huge movies, give us like Age of Apocalypse and Onslaught Saga and stuff. I think the best way to do that is just like a slow build. Do just like you did with the Avengers in the MCU. Like introduce people to them, rebuild them. Because I think what Disney would want to do is say these are our X-Men, not Fox's X-Men.
Yeah.
So
I agree with you on that, but I have a better idea, and this is my idea, and I mentioned it to you. And you're going to go next, so you better start planning your idea of how you introduce
You better have a plan.
You better have a plan.
Shit.
We told you better be ready, man. We weren't messing around.
Dan literally knew
Did
he
you
was
think
going
we were joking when we said
Dan knew that he'd be on this episode like a minute before it was.
Yeah.
He was in the office working on Detective Comics, and I yelled, Dan, be on this episode.
Yeah.
Because you like the X-Men.
This is true. This is true. And it was only like a minute after sitting down that I realized he was being serious about actually wanting me here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like when he sat you down in the chair. And,
Dan,
I'll start thinking.
Dan,
I'm thinking
we like
now.
you. Rob, grab his hand.
Oh, yeah.
Rob, we like you. We
I'll never let go, Dan.
Don't let go.
I'll never let go. Oh, no. Unless the water's really cold. Then I'll let you go.
So here's my idea.
I don't want to be cold.
Because we already have an Age of Apocalypse. We already have Last Stand. We already have
Yeah.
the best stories told in butchered fashions, but at least they're viable movies that made money. Okay? I mean, they're not horrendous. They're not good, but they're not horrendous, the X-Men series. We can all agree on that.
Yeah, they're not the worst superhero movies ever.
No, trust me. That's something else we can't talk about.
I mean, there's X-Men 3, but... Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's Batman v Superman. But anyway. There's the Nick Fury movie starring David Hasselhoff.
No, okay,
Oh,
first of all, do not diss the Hoff. That movie was fun. I enjoyed that movie. Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. You can watch it on YouTube. It's not as bad as he's making it out to be. It's bad. But it's
if
not
you
that
like
bad.
the Hoff, you're
Pretty
good.
bad.
Yeah,
It's
the Hoff.
We watched it for
awesome.
I got halfway through it. Not gonna lie.
You just had to quit?
It is better than the very original Captain America where he's a PI and he just punches people.
I love the Captain America where he steals a truck.
Yeah.
He drives a Captain America mobile.
Everyone who's
He
like under the age of 20
carjacked
right now is watching this going, where are these?
What? What are you talking about? It's like YouTube, man.
Look at the originals.
Yeah.
Captain America
carjacked
throwing the
someone.
shield and then like on a string being like,
Yeah.
bonk.
The original Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie. 1988, I think, when that came out.
Oh my god.
Anyway, here's my idea. Okay?
Yeah.
Because we already have so many stories established. We're going to retell them, and I feel like is the difference between this and Spider-Man. Spider-Man, they were able to go, okay, what hasn't been done? Well, there's only 5 other Spider-Man movies. So we can kind of just not do that, and bring in some other villains because they're well known, like Vulture and stuff like that. So that was kind of easy. With the X-Men, we have, 17, 18, 19 movies?
Yeah, we have a lot of movies. Well, I mean, Hugh Jackman's been playing him for 17 years. So right off the bat, I mean, you've got X-Men 1, you got X-Men 2, you got X-Men Last Stand, you have X-Men Origins Wolverine, you've got X-Men Days of Future Past, X-Men Apocalypse.
X-Men First Class.
X-Men First Class. I'm missing one.
What's the time travel one?
That was Days of Future Past.
Okay.
Days of Future.
And then you have the Phoenix movie that's supposed to be coming out.
And Old Man Logan.
And Old Man Logan. So
And
you've
Deadpool, because Deadpool's in that.
So you got 10 movies right
At
there.
least that you can think of.
At least that I can remember. 10 movies right there. So,
okay, I mean that's a problem. There's a lot of movies set up, and what we have Legion, The Gifted,
Legion, the TV show.
The Gifted. What was the other one they're doing right now?
Well, Runaways is based in the MCU, so
okay,
I'm pretty sure it is.
Oh, the haunted
I think it's kind of
house
standalone,
ones?
but
New
yeah,
Mutants.
huh? New
Oh,
Mutants.
the New Mutants. Yeah, that one's coming out. Yeah.
Deadpool 2.
Yeah, that begs the question: what happens to Deadpool 2?
Well, we'll get to that in a minute because I want to talk about it because that was a tweet that we got, which I do want to talk about. Anyway, my idea is this: you take the new version of the Fantastic Four. Forget those other ones. We can forget them.
Yeah.
There's only been 3 of them, and in 2 of them, Captain America was the Human Torch.
Oh, dude, no, Chris Pine. Oh
my God.
Yes,
That wasn't Chris Pine.
No,
Chris
not
Evans.
Chris Pine. Chris Evans. Yeah.
I
Chris
completely
Evans.
forgot about that.
I didn't. I was thinking about that the other day. I was
the
like,
Human Torch.
I was like, man, he's been the Human Torch. And so what happens when they get him back? They're like, all right, so like in this scene you're going to be Captain America, and in that scene you're going to be Johnny Storm. And you'd have to be both. I think it'd be funny. He's just talking to himself. All you ever see is the back of the head of Captain America when Johnny Storm's talking.
Or he's always on fire, Toro
He
style.
does that half thing where he's got half Captain America turns and Human Torch. It's like, oh my god,
He's Captain America Human Torch composite.
Yes, Captain Torch. Like somebody needs to draw that. Somebody watching this right now needs to make that in Photoshop. I want to see that.
A Captain Torch.
Yes, Captain
And it has
Torch.
to be Chris Evans in both.
It does. Yeah.
All right, so anyway, I've derailed so many times. Okay, so we introduced the new version of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
At the end of Infinity War, a portal opens up. I'm talking the one coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know this isn't going to happen, so we'll have to do it in the sequel. So, end of the Infinity War, Gauntlet goes down, whatever. Gauntlet gets crushed, but they discover there's a greater threat. Okay, here's my introduction for them. End of the next movie, not the one, but the one where we know he's going to have the Gauntlet, he's going to wipe out all existence.
Mm-hmm.
The heroes win the day. And now that the Gauntlet is gone, you hear a booming voice. I feed. And then we just see the eyes of a Galactus open. But a portal opens up, okay? The Fantastic Four walk out and they say, we're here to save you from Galactus. We just lost our world and he ate another world. And behind him walk out the current X-Men. And they start brand new in the MCU. Everything's still in continuity, but we are now here to explore the whole idea of them being in this world.
I mean, here's a big question that you have. Do you really want any of the Fantastic Four movies to be in continuity?
No, they want. I'm saying a
don't.
new Fantastic Four. We make a brand new MCU one. Those we can wipe out.
Okay. I honestly, I would just pick it up after Infinity War. And I would just say, because right now all you have is S.H.I.E.L.D. And I would say, okay, so in response to Infinity War and Thanos invading Earth, like the federal government forms SWORD, Sentinel World Observation and Response.
I think they've already mentioned them, but
And
okay.
they've asked. It was actually in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They were talking about that. They were like, so you guys don't have anything. They called it Spear, but they're like, you guys don't have anything where you like monitor other worlds or anything. And S.H.I.E.L.D. was like, no, we don't have that. So I would set up SWORD, Sentinel World Observation and Response Department. And then like SWORD's first mission is we need to observe space and we need to see what all is out there. So they get a handful of scientists to pilot a shuttle to fly out into space and see what's there, get hit with some cosmic rays, Fantastic Four is born, boom, crash back to Earth, and Chris Evans is Captain America and Johnny Storm. Like that's I mean, honestly, you literally throw them in right after that. I mean, kind of like some fans would get pissed because they would be like, no, they were supposed to be the originals. I don't care. We have them. So
Yeah,
just
exactly.
be happy for small favors. Like I'd be
Okay, but what about the X-Men though? I mean, you just want to start over, right?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, I'd bring Hugh Jackman in, and I would start. You'd have to make sure the audience knows that you're basically starting over. The movie
But
would
see, that's the
essentially
problem. You
have
can't
to
use
do
Hugh
that.
Jackman if you do that. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
Well-
you can't use anything from before because if you use Hugh Jackman, it will start then going, what the hell? Where were the Avengers during Age of Apocalypse? Where were the X-Men during Infinity War? Because at least they reference each other who are currently in the MCU, and right now it'd be too many holes.
No, I think if this were like a third Avengers film, I'd say probably because people would just kind of be like, I'll worry about it when I see it. But it's the first huge X-Men thing in the MCU, so I think that people would be far more inclined to read more into the X-Men news than they normally would under any other circumstance. And so now would be the time to just be like, everything that you saw on Fox does not apply. It's all been wiped out. It's all gone. The only thing that matters right now is what you see in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If it doesn't say Marvel Studios, it doesn't matter, and it only is going to say Marvel Studios because they've got the X-Men. So they're like,
As a way to get Hugh Jackman,
yeah.
what if they pulled the current Old Man storyline idea? Old Man Logan lands in the MCU.
Oh,
This
yeah.
isn't my world.
Dude, and he lands in Central Park. Or lands at, what is it? No, he landed in Times Square. That's what it was. And he was looking up at the signs. Dude, Jeff Lemire, man.
And none of it makes sense. And he
Jeff
goes
Lemire.
around introducing the mutants because they exist in his world. And he finds Xavier has hidden the original X-Men.
That would be interesting, but I feel like that's too much of a comic book plot. The reason why we understood that plot is because we trace Old Man Logan back.
No, you could very easily just have the one from the last movie pop in. You don't have to make any real references. He can just be like, I thought I died. Where am I? And then he goes around and you just start dropping explanation as you go, exposition as you're doing the story. Yeah, I'm looking for mutants. And then they go, like, Captain America, he finds Captain America.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm looking for mutants. Captain America's like, what's a mutant? So he explains what a mutant is. And then he's like, there's an individual known as Xavier. He's over in Westchester. And so he takes Captain America and they go look over in Westchester. And we introduce the audience to the idea of mutants, but we get Hugh Jackman.
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
keeping Hugh Jackman's a pretty big thing with keeping Logan. Like, let's be honest here.
If they come to me and they say, "Hey, look, we have the X-Men now in the MCU. Who do you think we should cast for Wolverine?" Hugh Jackman. I don't care what you have to do.
I don't know why they'd come to you, but you just get a tweet from Kevin Feige.
Dude, I'm Comics Explained, damn it.
Hey, Rob. Who do you think should be Wolverine?
Yeah. I'd be like, oh, hey, Kevin, man. Like, Kev Dog. I'd say it should probably be Hugh Jackman, man. You know? Give me a shout if you need anything. By the way, I got a party going on Friday. Make sure you stop by, man.
Oh, my God.
No, I wouldn't know what to do if Kevin Feige sent me a text. I'd be like, hi.
Dude, I was thrown off when one of the editors of Marvel hit me up. I don't know what I would do if Kevin Feige hit me up.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey, man, I really appreciate you asking me this. And give me like 3 days because I don't want to be wrong. I want to give you the perfect answer. No, obviously Hugh Jackman, everybody loves Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Yeah. I mean, I would even say the guy is synonymous. He's like the, Tony Stark or, Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark. Yeah. He's synonymous with the character.
Yeah.
Right.
He's played him for 17 years. I mean, he looks the part at this point even. And so I love the idea of Old Man Logan. I mean, definitely that would easily be an approach that they could take. The only problem that I have with that is saying, well, they come from different universes, is it would basically seem as though they're not really part of the MCU.
No. You would Old Man Logan's the only one. Mutants haven't been born on this world yet or haven't been introduced. And he takes your choice MCU character because they came to stop the crazy guy in the park, And he's like, where's all my friends, all my mutants, everything like that. And he's like, what's a mutant? So he explains what a mutant is. And he's like, okay, well, I'm going to help you. You're obviously not from this world, and that you take it like that. And so then you basically, Old Man Logan is the viewer and he's explaining everything as we're going through the whole thing. Or the MCU character is the viewer and Old Man Logan's explaining. But they go to Westchester and you see the first X-Men. They haven't done anything because in this timeline, the X-Men aren't a thing.
I mean, honestly, they would probably just grab the Ultimate Universe origin of mutants.
Yeah.
Like Wolverine has a healing factor. Like they're basically creating their own super soldier program. Because I am okay. Oh no. Okay, dude, this just occurs to me. Okay, Infinity War, Captain America dies. All right, Captain America dies. Now, in the Ultimate Universe, Nick Fury was the original super soldier. He was the equivalent of Captain America in the Ultimate Universe, basically. The first person to receive the super soldier serum. They tried to duplicate it. They couldn't until they got to Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers was the next person to actually get it. But every other country had their own version of their own super soldier serum. Or super soldier program. Canada's was what they did with Wolverine. When they were analyzing Wolverine, they realized he had a mutant gene. And that if it was activated, would give him mutant powers. So they did that. They activated that gene. Then they created a serum that synthesized it all throughout the world. And mutants were basically, started popping into existence. I could see them doing that in the Marvel Cinematic Universe because in Infinity War, Captain America will die. Or maybe Nick Fury will die, whatever. But because of the fact that one of them is dead, they're like, we need a new super soldier. We need a new Captain America. And so suddenly, enter Wolverine. And they basically figure out he has a healing factor, Ultimate Universe origin of mutants unfolds, and then they're in the MCU. I mean, that's entirely possible. I like my idea better, but
so
that seems to be the most reasonable approach for them.
It's time to hear what Dan's idea is, because he's not the expert.
Dan.
But before we can get to that, I need to remind you guys that this episode is brought to you by our first sponsor, Skillshare, which is an online learning community of over 17,000 classes. You can learn your favorite thing online. 17,000 classes. I'm sure you can find something you enjoy.
I imagine I'd be hard pressed to find something that I wouldn't enjoy.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. If you want to take online classes, why don't you go to the premier site for that? And it's only $10 a month, giving you unlimited access. But I'll do you one better, my friend. What? If you use our link in the description down below, which you can't see because you're in the video.
I'm in the video. Hold on. All right.
If you click that link, you get a 2-month free trial to Skillshare. But only the first 500 people get to see that, Rob. Yeah. So you might want to click this when the video goes live.
Yeah.
Damn.
Be there or be not one of the 500 people.
Or be not skill sharing for free.
Yeah. Be there or be not skill shared. I don't know how to make that work. Anyway, Dan, what is your what's your idea?
Okay, I will say.
Come on. You gotta give me credit on that.
That's pretty good.
Oh yeah, that was a great.
Pretty good. Bravo. So first off, I'm going to say it's really hard to try and remember what you're thinking while still understanding what you guys are saying.
You'll get used to it.
I think a great way that they could do it is time travel. Time travel like they always do with X-Men. That is like their biggest thing, time travel.
That's true.
Fantastic Four, time traveling platform, dimensional crossing thing. This is also a way that you can get Deadpool with Deadpool 2 into the mix because Cable, time travel. They throw in some story that they do this and they completely redeem themselves by they somehow bring the X-Men from before all the current movies that we know of have come out. They bring those to the present to be like, hey, shit's gone down, like, and they make spoofs and like they make fun of how bad the X-Men movies were or how bad the other movies were as like this is the current time. But wait, when we did it, this stupid thing
Language.
It's
You're
fine.
okay,
Dylan
man.
can censor you.
sorry.
It's okay, man.
This isn't live.
I'm sorry. My bad.
I love the look at your face.
No, what I loved about it though is he thinks that we're live. Like this is live.
I'm so used to
I
microphones.
said a wordy dirty. I said a wordy dirty.
So
I want people to take that face right there.
Yeah.
I want to see some memes.
Memes. Yes. We need a meme.
so anyway,
Dan gets one episode on the RMBE and he's already memed.
He's already a meme.
Language, Dan.
so anyway, they basically make fun of the things that everyone made fun of about the movies, like the inconsistencies, the things that people didn't like and all of that. Mm-hmm. But they acknowledge that they existed. They introduced the fact that this is a full like X-Men time travel. Let's be honest, time travel's X-Men. Yeah. That's what they do. And somehow them bringing them there, that's what throws off the timeline, which also changes Chris Evans being the Human Torch. Like,
no,
so, like you could.
I don't want to change
that. Wait.
I don't want to lose
They
that.
could have this line in though, where they have one of the X-Men like come through and they see Captain America and they're like, "Wait, aren't you supposed to be on fire or something?"
Oh yes.
And they make some sort of joke acknowledging the fact that he was the Human Torch.
Yes.
And then they somehow wrap the time travel, the changing of that somehow affects the Fantastic Four of that universe, the X-Men, and that's how they get them all in the same universe. I mean, obviously that's not fully thought through, but
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Just-
it's throwing out. That's the whole.
Yeah,
point.
no,
It's
that's great. I liked it. I mean, the problem is this isn't Spider-Man. They can't just. And Spider-Man's been in New York for the last 6 months. You just kind of missed it.
Yeah. I mean, that's it's not one guy in one of the boroughs of New York.
Which is why Spider-Man's feasible because you can be like,
Yeah.
oh, Tony's been tracking him. Like
Yeah.
he's been watching
He
this.
just never really had a reason.
It's just one guy.
It's only recently, but you're talking about an entire race of people.
Yeah.
Some of whom have godlike powers. And we're expected to believe no one noticed a guy shooting lasers out of his eyes. No, that would never hit a headline anywhere. I don't know. I mean, that's why it's such a weird predicament. I mean, there's any number of. I mean, if they wanted to go with the original Marvel origin, you could just have some scene in like Avengers 4 or like Infinity War where they get thrown to the distant past and they see the Celestials messing with human genes, and that's when you can be like, hey, there's the Eternals and the Deviants and mutants. I mean, there's a million ways that they could go. I think the biggest thing they're probably going to, at least what I would emphasize on, whether they take the Spider-Man Homecoming approach where it just picks up after the death of Uncle Ben, or whether it's, they actually go through and do origins. If I were Disney, I would want to establish these are my X-Men.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is not Days of Future Past, X2, X-Men 3 Last Stand. This is our X-Men. This is our characters. It's not the ones you saw before.
But then you can't have Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, I know, and that's the downside.
Yeah.
I mean,
because Hugh Jackman is the most recognizable feature
but see,
of Fox X-Men.
That's why I say, under normal circumstances, I would say yes. But I think because an X-Men movie coming out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe would be so high profile, and because people would want an answer to that exact same question that you're raising an issue about, they would literally read into it. And if what it basically comes out to is, yes, we have Hugh Jackman, but this is not tied into anything that you saw from Fox. We're wholly separate. All that's been gone away. It's basically a reboot or whatever. And you communicate to the average moviegoer, all that stuff's gone. We're basically starting all over again. I think it works. I think you can have the best of both worlds. But the problem is that something like that you would have to solve before the movie came out. I mean, that's a marketing push to make something like that clear. If you want to do that in a movie, it'd just be too difficult and too convoluted. I mean, you just have to do origins, you know. But like that's a marketing. That's how you make people aware. As you tell the general public through marketing, this is basically a reboot of the X-Men, which I think they're okay with that. I mean, they figured it out with Spider-Man. Yeah. I mean, when Spider-Man: Homecoming came out, you didn't hear people asking, well, where's Andrew, Garfield? And where's Electro? And how are we to see Uncle Ben died? People roll with the punches pretty well.
Yeah.
This is a much bigger stage than Spider-Man: Homecoming. Yeah. But I think it still works.
Well, before we can go on to the next thing, I have two things I want to bring up. One, poking a hole in your Hugh Jackman thing. Disney's already discovering the problem of having somebody on the same role for 10 to 15 years.
Yeah, contract.
Hugh Jackman's already 49. So we're talking if he goes a 10-year stint as Wolverine again.
He's 60 years old.
I don't see that happening.
Hey, Bob, let me get out of my rocking chair. Oh, my hips. I got sciatica. Wolverine's all old.
So I feel like that would probably poke the biggest hole if they do a full reboot.
Yeah. Deadpool goes with Cable, goes to Wolverine in the future as the Old Man Logan version before he dies, and he says, no, take her. Save the girl. She will be what you need. And he continues in that universe, dies, Deadpool takes Laura. They've got their Wolverine.
I could see that creates a weird scenario. If this was a deal that was struck up a year ago or 5 years ago, and this movie was coming out this year, I would say Laura Kinney, X-23, definitely.
Yeah.
Classic Wolverine is back.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're just pushing X-23 no holds barred. Like classic Wolverine's here. And they're obviously building up to something with him because they're giving him a damn Infinity Stone. So, I mean, it's not like he's back and then he's just going to be a backup feature in all new Wolverine stories. So, I mean, he's going to be a backup feature in every story.
He's a backup feature in every story, Rob.
For those of you guys
that don't know what's going on, that Marvel announced that if you want to know what happened to classic Wolverine, how he came back and got the stone, there's going to be a page or a panel in the back of every legacy book, and you link them all together to understand what happened to Wolverine.
Not the best marketing decision.
Buy all 50 of our books a month.
Yeah, you have to buy them all if you want to know what he's doing. That's how you get people.
It would at least make sense. Just this is a slight tangent. I would at least understand that if they were like, buy all the X-Men books.
There you go, or all the Wolverine books.
All the Wolverine.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Because then you're also limiting to like a 6 to 10 book run. You're not like all the legacy books.
Yeah, every legacy book. That's crazy talk.
Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
So I want to give you the ultimate conclusion how they should introduce the X-Men. This is another idea. Okay. Portal opens up.
You and
not a portal. Hold on.
You are all about those portals, man.
Hold on. Portal opens up at the end of Infinity War, the middle one. Okay. This one right here. Out walks the Inhumans.
Nobody wants to see the Inhumans.
That would be the biggest. Oh, what the heck?
That'd be exactly it. The portal opens up, the Inhumans walks out, and like Black Bolt, like Medusa's like, we're here to save everybody, and Captain America's like, Jesus Christ. that's exactly
Jesus Christ.
Just go away, guys.
Right. I'm not done though. Phone booth falls out of space, landing on them. Out walks Bill and Ted. And they're like,
phone booth.
And they're like, we got what you need.
As soon as you said phone booth, I knew that was coming. It was that or George Carlin. I knew it was going to be one of the two. Bill and Ted.
Could you imagine that though? Dudes! We got these things called the X-Men.
I would be so hyped about that. They open a comic book and the X-Men jump out. We're here to save the day.
Okay,
oh my God.
Dan did not hear your theory you brought me in the car.
What?
And I got permission from Rob to do this in this episode because Rob wants to make a video.
Yeah.
So the next thing we're going to discuss is they're not just buying Fox movie rights. That doesn't mean just X-Men. They're also buying the Fox television rights.
Okay. Yeah.
You would think a couple obvious things, right? Like the X-Men shows.
Yes.
Simpsons.
Wait, whoa.
Fox television.
I didn't
Fox
even
television.
Wow, that is okay.
And what's the one you mentioned?
Gotham. That's the question I had. Would Disney own Gotham? Would they own a Batman property? That's the question I have, man. You see how clickbait that title is, man?
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I'm gonna click.
Now, for the record, I'm going to put this out there right now before everyone goes down to the comments like, oh, here's what they actually bought, guys. No. We are doing this when there is nothing but theories as to what is actually in the deal.
There's no outline deal. It's Fox Television. I mean, I'm sure Warner Brothers has something
To prevent that from happening.
Yeah, prevent that from happening. Yeah.
So, but what we are going to discuss right now, because we're sure that they have something to prevent it, and even if they don't, Fox Television will have probably some clause in there, like certain shows aren't going to be able to be bought by Disney. They got to revert back to whoever they originally owned. That's fine, Gotham. What if Disney owned Batman, though?
Well,
See that grin? See that grin?
They wouldn't own Batman so much as they would own the Gotham franchise,
Which has Bruce Wayne.
It does have Bruce Wayne, which means that
So they at least get Kid Bat.
that means that Warner Brothers and Disney would be joint owners in Batman. I mean, okay, I'll be honest, man. If I were Disney,
but once again,
Marvel versus
once
DC
again-
movie.
Okay, hold on. I'm saying once again,
JLA versus
regardless of what comes out, we are going to talk about this. Okay,
Yeah.
regardless of what news happens, and you guys, I don't care if you say you guys were wrong. That doesn't matter. Batman in the MCU. So how would you introduce Batman to the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
No.
Through just a weird chain of deals,
No.
Disney accidentally bought Batman.
Okay.
Accidentally. How'd you get Batman? Oh shit! You know,
was a
we
part
were
of this other
buying
deal.
this, and then it was on the receipt. I forgot to remove it from the cart.
Yeah.
You know, I just ended up with it.
So, like, literally, I would do it in it'd be two ways. One would be a teaser. The other would be like a post-credit scene. All right. Teaser would just be a moment in like any of the Avengers films or something like that. Like you've basically got a moment where like when the Avengers film first kicks off, you know, like Infinity War, whatever it is, Tony Stark's going about his business. He has an invitation from Wayne Enterprise, like the Wayne Enterprise Gala or whatever it is, or the Bruce, like the whole thing. And he's like, whatever, and he just throws it in the trash. That's it. That's the teaser. Like holy shit, Bruce Wayne invited Tony Stark to a gala, and that would be it. The post-credit scene would be the aftermath to Infinity War. And it would literally be Alfred and Bruce Wayne talking. And it's like, well, I mean, like after a calamity like this, I mean, it's time for us to act. And it would basically be the idea of them saying, like, we need to make Brother Eye. That would be it. because of Infinity War, they got to make Brother Eye. Like a planet-wide, not really planet-wide, yeah, I guess a planet-wide, satellite surveillance system designed to watch the world. I would so do that with Batman in the MCU, and Iron Man helps him build it. Dude, that would be so cool.
How would you bring Batman to the MCU?
Oh my gosh, Batman into the MCU. God damn, that is like. I like the Tony Stark. He gets a thing for Wayne Enterprise. Psh, I don't.
He throws it away.
Minor leagues just throws it away.
I always get invited to these rich people parties.
I feel like Batman in the MCU, they would never actually do anything with him. Just in every single movie, there would be some scene going on, and just in the background, you just see this guy grappling hook.
He just swings
Or
by.
like the bat signal.
Yes, you just see this little thing in the back. You're like, what's that in the sky? Oh, it's the bat signal. And they're just all like having their normal stuff. Like Daredevil's doing his shit. He can't see it.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Can't see it.
Daredevil.
He's ignoring it.
Daredevil, man, you see that? He's like, huh? What? I'm blind, man. Describe it to me. It's a bat in the sky. Why do I care if there's a bat in the sky? No, it's a bat with a light, and it's shining in the sky. Who's got a bat flashlight? That'd be hilarious.
I like how your version of Daredevil is senile.
He's not senile.
Who's got a bat flashlight?
I guess it does come up kind of senile. But no, that's what I would do. I mean, you literally have. I mean, no, Daredevil wouldn't be senile.
Anyway, though, so here's how
That's
I would
actually how they
Batman.
introduced Moon Knight.
Here's how I'd introduce Batman.
Yeah, there you go.
They do
No,
all
that guy's stealing my whole thing. He's got bat batarangs. I got moon crescents. He dresses in a full body costume and fights at night. I dress in a full body costume and fight at night. He's really rich. I'm a millionaire, not a billionaire, but I'm close. I mean, dude, I can definitely see that.
Moon Knight just having a day. Mm-hmm. All right, so here's how I'd introduce Batman. Ready?
Yeah.
Ready? A portal opens.
Portal open.
I'm actually going somewhere with this too.
A portal opens.
Oh my god.
A portal opens. Batman steps out at the end of Infinity War. looks at his cowl, like his cowl thing. God damn it, boom tube messed up again. Walks back out and leaves.
That's it?
Yeah, he just walks in.
Accidentally teleported
He's
to
on
the wrong
universe and he walks back out.
I should have making that left turn at Albuquerque. Wow. That would actually be pretty hilarious. That's like a Stan Lee cameo.
It's like, have you seen the old Spider-Man cameo in X-Men?
No.
It's in a blooper reel. Look it up when we get done here. I'll pull it up. Look it up online. If you look up Spider-Man and X-Men, what they were filming the scene of like X2 or X3. Somebody put on the Spider-Man costume when they were prepping for the final fight, and he runs in behind. All right, guys, I'm here.
Wow.
I'm gonna show you after this.
Dude, I should see that. No, okay. Here's a great way to introduce Batman. It's a Stan Lee cameo.
Yeah.
Like Stan Lee.
Stan Lee's in the cowl.
Yeah, no, it's not Stan Lee in the cowl. Like Stan Lee is showing like he's telling Batman about these guys. Because remember, the last time we saw him, he was with the Watchers.
Yeah.
So he's hanging out with them. He was like, "No, the last time I did this, I was hanging out with these guys called the Watchers, and I told them the same thing that I'm telling you. Like, this is all just a crazy place where you got a man who dresses in an Iron Man suit, and you got like Captain America, and he's basically explaining to Batman the Marvel universe.
Oh my
And it
God.
just kind of fades to black while Stan Lee's going on about nonsense, and Batman's getting bored as hell. Like that's."
Because in all honesty, as much as I would love to see Batman, just although they would never, even if they by some weird loophole got him,
Yeah.
they would never just put him in.
No.
It wouldn't just be like Batman on the Avengers.
I mean, I do not believe. Let's say for example that there was an oversight on Warner Brothers' behalf or Fox's behalf, and there was no clause for what if Disney buys Fox. Because who the hell saw that coming?
Exactly.
So there was never any clause in there. And let's say that when Disney buys Fox TV, they legitimately get the televised syndicated rights to Fox. They were just never reverted back to Gotham. They never reverted back to Warner Brothers. I could see Disney giving it back, like for a price.
Right.
Well, I will
price.
say this because I do know a little bit about. I'm not like some legal officer and stuff like that. But a lot of times, if you've licensed out stuff and there's a sale that happens, there is a clause that states before that gets moved with the property, there's a chance for the original owners to get it back.
Okay.
I could see
Now.
However, if a portal opens,
Yeah, if a portal opened.
I would laugh so hard though if this deal goes through and Fox sends the email and someone's on vacation.
Yeah, that person, whoever that person is fired. They're never working that town again.
Who are you? I'm the guy that let Disney buy Batman.
Why did you do that? Like, I was on vacation, man, and I left my phone in my car, and I missed the email. It's like, oh, that email cost you your whole life and career, man.
That guy would go down in history. How Disney bought Batman.
Yeah, the man.
A guy didn't answer the email.
Yes, that's exactly it. A guy missed an email, and Disney bought Batman. You couldn't make up a headline like that, man. That's crazy. Dude, that would be hilarious.
That should be the title of this video.
A guy
missed an email and Disney bought Batman.
Oh, man. Yeah.
All right, so
oh my gosh.
we're going to wind down this episode. I want to ask one last thing. This was a tweet we got brought over, and I want to get your opinion on it because we kind of agree on this. Somebody asked us.
Okay.
Because Old Man Logan, or Logan, whatever it's called, and Deadpool are both R-rated films.
Yes.
The MCU is not R-rated films.
Correct.
So he asked, what do you guys feel about Disney taking those properties and making them PG-13? And I got in a little debate with him about how there's no evidence to show that they will do that, but there's no evidence to show that they won't.
Yep. 100% true.
Right. So it's all hearsay. Yes, they may dummy it down. No, they may just throw it onto one of their R-rated labels. Because a lot of people don't know this. Disney, through the chain of events, owns quite a few R-rated properties.
Yeah.
They just put them under different labels. One of the best one is, I think we were talking about in the car. I have no confirmation on this, but I believe Pulp Fiction is on the Disney actually technically owns it.
Yeah,
But you would never assume that.
No, you'd never think that.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, okay, here's the thing though. Think about the movies that we've seen in the MCU so far. Whether it's because it's the way they're written or because of just how they tie in, there's never been a reason to make a rated R movie so far.
That
in
was
the
what I
MCU.
said. You're not going to see Iron Man rip someone's head off.
Yeah.
Captain America's not going to take the shield and cut it through Baron Zemo's face,
Yeah.
It'd be pretty
funny.
cool. Yeah, pretty cool.
Just start bashing his face in with the edge of the shield. That would be hilarious to me.
But what I'm saying is
I
we've
don't know why, I
never
think that's funny.
needed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Disney likes money.
Yeah.
That's proven by half of the crap they pull. They like money.
Yeah.
And Deadpool and Logan both proved R-rated superhero flicks can work.
If they're written well, yeah. If they're written and directed well.
So what do you think?
I think, honestly, that, like, as you just said, those two proved that R-rated superhero movies could work. I think they would keep them that way. I think they would keep them as R-rated, and that actually gave me a thought of it would be really cool of a way to give the MCU, the X-Men, what if they made them R-rated?
R-rated X-Men?
R-rated X-Men with Deadpool and Wolverine, and that was how they had them in the same universe technically, but not in the same universe. And then, because I mean,
Kind of like a Netflix thing?
Exactly.
Like the Netflix guys are there,
exactly,
but they're not.
exactly, kind of like that. Because when I think of like the superheroes in the Marvel universe and the X-Men, I think a lot more powerful, and a lot of their stuff is like, I mean, Jean in that one movie she explodes Xavier. Like, she literally just explode. Imagine
And then he wakes up
X-Men
in another
movies.
body and we never reference it again.
Wakes up with the body of Cyclops. And then that's it.
And it's just like, imagine R-rated X-Men movies with Wolverine and Deadpool included in them.
That would be
Like,
good. I could see that.
because that way they could keep them. They could do whatever they wanted. Deadpool and Logan proved that
We want it.
you when you want violent characters, you want them in the manner that you perceive them.
Right,
You don't want Wolverine going, I could slash you, but I'm gonna punch you and knock you out instead.
We don't want
Like,
Wolverine drinking cola instead of beer.
Drinking a Diet Coke.
Exactly.
I mean, I could see their solo films being rated R.
Yeah.
Team films would be PG-13. Just because of, I imagine, everything else thrown in there.
Yeah.
But you can handle that in different ways. Deadpool can make a joke about it. It's like, well, when I'm in my movie, I have all kinds of violence. How come I can't be violent here? And that would fit in perfect with Deadpool.
Yeah.
Referencing his own solo films. But with Wolverine, I mean, you probably wouldn't draw a whole lot of attention to it. Either that or you would just show some violence that's off panel. But usually when it comes to those team-up films, there's so much happening in there anyway that even if there's not as much violence as you're used to in a solo Wolverine film, it would be overlooked by everything that's happening.
Yeah.
So people wouldn't really draw a whole lot of attention to it, I wouldn't think. So.
The last question then. Would you watch Deadpool at PG-13? Wolverine we've all seen.
No, I wouldn't.
no.
I think it would ruin the character.
Because you would go in thinking, okay, what kind of stuff could they have done that they cut out because they made it PG-13?
Yeah.
That's your immediate thought.
Like his
when you
little
think,
hand.
yeah, like everything about Deadpool is R-rated.
Even his comics are like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that apple's been tasted. You can't go back. You can't. I mean, we've seen what a Deadpool movie can be like when it's written well, when it's directed well, and when it's rated R. And of course, the person starring and directing it loves it.
Yes.
Or the people who are starring and directing it love it. So, like, Ryan Reynolds' passion for Deadpool shows through in the movie. Deadpool 2, I'm sure, will be, or like, hopefully it won't be one of those things where it just kind of fails in comparison to the first. But the first movie is clearly an example of the fact that you can make a rated R film about a character with dark humor that's over-the-top violent, over-the-top funny, and it works.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would not go back to PG-13. I think it would take away from everything that makes Deadpool Deadpool.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's where we should close out today's episode.
enough.
We don't need a B-roll today because this is a long enough episode.
Yeah,
I think half of this episode is B-roll.
yeah.
But guys, don't forget, today was our first sponsor, and if you want to support us and check out a great location to get online learning, go check out Skillshare. To click the link down below, the first 500 people that go there get the first 2 months for free. It's a great way to get online classes. It's not that expensive, and you can check it out for free. Help us by showing us that you go down there and check it out. Go learn some stuff.
Definitely.
If you enjoyed this and you want to see more just straight up discussions with more topical stuff on me and Rob and our guest over here, we'll probably rotate out the guest, but if you like Dan, let us know in the comments down below. You can find us all on Twitter. I'm at Comicstorian. He's at Comics Explained. He's at Dan T. Editor.
That's correct.
Yep. I'll put all the links down below. And you can also find Rob over at his channel, Comics Explained.
Yep.
And you can find all of us over on twitch.tv/EligibleMonster on the weekends. And you can find us on the gaming channel having very similar discussions about your favorite video games at Eligible Monster.
Yes. Yes,
I think that's enough call to actions, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
I think so.
And if you do everything I just asked you to do, you're my new favorite person.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thank you so much. I hope to see you here next week when we bring back the show yet again. I don't know what the topic is, but I know we have a Batman Beyond related one, the worst retcons in DC and Marvel, and the worst Batman retcons. All of those coming up very soon.
Yep.
Subscribe to make sure you don't miss those, or check us out on iTunes, or check us out on we're on all 3 of them now. It works now.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
So you can listen to us while you drive to work.
Yes, you can listen to these sultry tones.
All right.
as
You have a good
drive.
day.